So I'm here with Leah Dugan of the Holistic team. I'm Tom Alexander, co-founder and CEO, and we're here to talk about neurodivergency and some of the efforts that Holistic is undertaking in this space. So first, Leah, for those who are not initiated, can you just explain what neurodivergency is?
Sure. It's sort of a catch-all phrase that refers to folks whose essentially their brain works a little bit differently from what we would term neurotypical, folks' brain. So that could include someone who's, has ADHD, someone who's on the autism spectrum. It could include folks who have OCD, even folks who have depression and anxiety, post-traumatic stress syndrome. So there's a lot of different conditions or disabilities that would fall under that umbrella. And it really just simply means that our brains just work a little bit differently.
And so is it fair to say that in the past, let's say, 5, 10, 15 years, awareness of these types of issues and space for them has grown dramatically?
I would say even shorter than that. I've noticed a huge difference in just the past couple of years and how it's being talked about. One of the biggest things, in particular with ADHD and autism, is it was studied primarily in boys and men. It wasn't really studied in women and girls very much. So a lot of women and girls were not being diagnosed because, because of how we're socialized, right? Symptoms were showing up in very different ways for women for the most part. So a lot of folks are finding that like me, that they're getting diagnosed in adulthood. And then you kind of start putting together the pieces where you're like, oh, I can see how this has affected me, but it was previously something that wasn't known to you at all.
And so you've been very open with us at Holistic about your journey with neurodivergency. And, to be sure, that's kind of one of the reasons why we've made some space for you to work on these matters. But if you're comfortable, can you just talk a little bit about sort of your experiences over the past few years? Sure. And sort of how it's affected your place in the workforce primarily?
Absolutely. So I've traditionally had sort of non-traditional job. I was, doing a lot of gig type work for a really long time and working in restaurants and bars for a really long time. And when I really started noticing that I didn't quite fit in office spaces, and that at first I really thought it was just because it was an environment that I wasn't used to, right? It was a new environment, but it became quickly very noticeable to me that there were vast differences with how my brain interpreted information and how I worked, and how other folks' brains interpreted the same information and how they work, And so a couple of years ago, I sort of self-diagnosed myself as having ADHD. And then about a year ago, I was professionally diagnosed through a psychiatrist as having ADHD. And so that has really, once I started learning about it, I kind of, a typical kind of ADHD thing is to get hyperfixated on something that's interesting and then do a bunch of research. So,
you did that about ADHD. It became very meta.
It did. It was ridiculous, but super interesting. It's really, really, really fascinating. It's essentially a dopamine uptake issue, specifically for ADHD. So I've sort of went down that several rabbit holes as far as that's concerned, and was able to, figure out some tools and tips that sort of helped me with how I work. And it really boils down to, most of my life, I would think I was fighting my brain chemistry in order to try to work a specific way. And then through, understanding this diagnosis a little bit better, I realized that it's one, there's no need to fight it. It can be frustrating to deal with it, but it's not like there's nothing wrong with my brain. It's just a little bit different. And making space for how now I know my brain is different, and using ways to sort of work with my brain so that I'm achieving the things that I want to achieve is kind of where I've realigned my energy, rather than just sort of fighting it and being like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this?
Yeah, totally. And I can imagine it's a little bit freeing to kind of have a plan as opposed to be kind of feeling like you're swimming against the tide. And I think traditionally non-traditional is a great definition for you. I think we'll make you put that on your email signature. I think I sort of joked with you after you and I had initially kind of talked about ADHD that I couldn't stop seeing ADHD videos on TikTok. So I definitely
once you get on that side of TikTok.
Kind of a growth of information out there. Why should somebody at work who's not afflicted by one of these conditions care about it?
Well, chances are they work with or have someone who reports directly to them that is impacted by it. So understanding it in the way that, There are some challenges that are associated with it for sure. There's definitely some benefits that are associated with it. And so understanding not only that someone who may not be showing up, in a certain societally acceptable way in meetings, isn't necessarily someone who's like rude or doesn't like people. It might just be that they might, have autism and you just don't know, like there's better ways of understanding folks that you work with, I think is incredibly important. And then also being able to offer support for folks who do need extra support, and then also utilizing those benefits fully so that that person is able to, put as much of themselves into your organization or your company in a way that makes sense for them. Like, there's something really special about a lot of folks who are neurodivergent. And I feel like a lot of that gets untapped because we focus on the challenges associated with it, because our society is built for neurotypical folks. Like it just is,
right.
And so the fact that it's
you miss all the opportunity associated with
right. And we lose sense of oh, this could be a really wonderful opportunity to have this person do a big picture job where they're finding like pattern recognition in ways that other folks may not be able to do.
So last question is, you wrote a survey, which we're launching. Tell us a little bit about why you felt like that was necessary and what you're hoping to accomplish with that, what we're hoping to accomplish with that.
Totally. So I can, speak from experience with my own personal experience and like what would help me in an office space, right? As far as, as things as simple as, like a different kind of setup for a to-do list, not a non-traditional to-do list, like a rotating to-do list or something like that, where I don't always have the same tasks over and over and over again, or, things that are more complicated than that. But sorry, my brain just did a very typical ADHD thing where like, I was like, it just like,
we can edit it out or we cannot. Right?
No, leave it in. Like, leave it in.
Leave it in.
This is like so perfect. It just like short-circuited and every thought left in it.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question again. What are you trying to accomplish with this survey?
Thank you. So I can talk from my experience, right? But there's all different kinds of neurodivergency. And even within just ADHD specifically, different people struggle with different things and different people have, different capacities. So I wanted to get an idea of what other people have experienced in the workplace, other neurodivergent folks experience as far as the challenges that come up for them, ways in which maybe they have been supported in the past in the workplace or are currently being supported, or ways in which they would like to be supported. Yeah. And then maybe, experiences that they have where they have found that their neurodivergence has given them either a leg up or a special way to like be a part of their organization. So I just wanted to get more information in order to better educate folks on it so that we can assist our client or anyone who's interested in little things that you can do in the workplace to better assist these folks.
Amazing. So for anybody who's watching, check out the link to be able to take the survey, pass it along to people who are neurodivergent or are neurotypical. All are welcome to take the survey. And we're really looking forward to the feedback. And of course, we'll be sharing it with everybody and continuing to develop training and other sorts of resources available. This is Leah Dugan, an amazing holistic teammate. So thanks, Leah, very much for spending some time with us. Why am I in a car?
I don't know, but I like it. We're doing all of our meetings from now on with you in the car.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And we're really looking forward to seeing the survey results.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Tom.